Coach, just curious, what are some things that stand out to you stylistically about West Virginia? And is there maybe a team in the league or a team that you've played that they kind of remind you of?
Well, I think to answer your first question, Curtis, I mean, they've obviously got a really talented off guard who can score the ball in number 12, Taz Sherman. McNeil, number 22, is a really, really good shooter. Sherman can kind of score the ball in three areas: high volume free throw attempt player, can make threes, can dribble drive. And then, from a rebounding standpoint, they have a lot of guys that can really pound the backboards. Bridges, number 11, is a guy that really goes to glass. 13, Cottrell is a very good offensive rebounder. Polycat, number 1. Kerrigan, all those guys really, really, really crash the offensive backboard. So defensive rebounding is going to be a big key. And then they turn people over. So you've got to do a good job taking care of the basketball as well.
And then you've mentioned, kind of the importance of this SEC Big 12 challenge and some of the implications it could have down the road. Is just wondering if you could touch on that a little bit. And I guess you'll be a heavy SEC fan on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that our league does really well. I mean, I think that all the coaches in the league are, going to watch with high interest and hope that our conference has a great showing. But for us, it's unique to be in the middle of conference play, and then it's kind of this one game that's a quick interruption, and then we get right back to it. But I think it's great. I mean, the national exposure that both leagues get out of this. There's been a lot of advertisement going on nationally about the Big 12 SEC challenge. So I think it's a great thing for college basketball. I think it's a great thing for, both programs as well. I mean, I think it's there's a national spotlight on every one of these games. It's going to happen Saturday.
Bob?
Hey, Eric, hope your shoulder's feeling a little better. Hey, Trey, I guess it was after the A&M game, you raved about his defense, how he guards his guy, but also helps out other people. What is it specifically he does to be such a good defender that you like? What do you really like about his defense?
Well, I think there's a couple things, Bob. I think one, he's a disciplined defender, meaning he doesn't leave his feet at inopportune times. He doesn't reach or gamble at wrong times. He's got high basketball IQ. He's a veteran. He's got good experience to understand both on-ball defense and team defense. Because, some guys are really, really good on-ball defenders, and then they might not be great, help defenders. And then you talk about just the versatility and his ability to guard 1 through 5, because that's what we kind of look at him as a guy that can guard 5 positions.
And then he's also giving you some offense. He's been knocking down. He just seems when he gets his feet under him, he's a pretty deadly 3-point guy. Maybe not off the bounce, but if he gets set, he's been pretty good. Just what do you thought about what he's added to the the offense? It's in some of these games.
Yeah, no, he's been great from an offensive standpoint, I think, and it starts with he understands his role. He understands his strengths and weaknesses. He does not take bad shots. And so therefore you see a really high 3-point percentage, because guys that have great shot selection, guys that shoot at the right time, and don't force the issue with repetitions in practice and repetitions on your own, you can be a guy that really contributes. And that's what Trey Wade has done for us on both sides of the ball.
And I know there's a lot of moving parts of this winning streak, but you guys started the streak when you put him back in the lineup. He played a little bit earlier, and he wasn't playing much in the games before that, but he was just saying, it sounds like he just has a mature approach about staying ready. What do you remember about him in those practices, and just kind of how he, didn't get down or whatever? At least, he doesn't sound like he did, just kind of how he handled all that. And now he's getting his chance.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's why his role is what it is. I think that, again, this could be any sport. It doesn't really happen at the pro level where guys get down or lose confidence or start pouting or don't come and bring it in practice every day. I mean, he's a guy that has this steady approach every single day, and he understands that we value practice, that we value understanding the scouting report. And I think he's just ultra tuned in, but he does remind me of NBA players that stay ready. And when number called upon, you know, we talk to our team, like, you know, when you go into a game, you take, you know, your first opportunity to do something well and to help the team. And then the next opportunity. And then all of a sudden, you know, Trey goes from maybe playing 7 minutes a night to playing 35 to now playing 40, where you just don't take him off the floor. And so that's what you want out of a guy that is trying to increase his role. You want productivity. And you want a guy that's unselfish on both sides of the ball, that makes other people around him better. And to answer your question about when he wasn't playing, he is the guy that unequivocally made our practices better. You know, so he's been an energy giver to his teammates and the coaching staff, whether he plays a minute or plays 40 minutes. And that's not always the case on teams where guys that aren't playing the role that they want, that they bring energy every single day. And when guys do that, and then they don't play, as a staff, you feel for that guy that's doing everything that you ask, and that's why, you know, Trey's gotten several different opportunities to start this year.
And then, you didn't mention Gabe Osaboy when you were going over personnel. I know you didn't coach him here, but I think you guys really helped him get to West Virginia and helped back. That was before the transfer rules were like they are. You helped it to where he could be eligible immediately. I just wondered kind of what you think about how Gabe's doing there. And you're glad to see he landed on his feet there.
Yeah, no, we're happy for Gabe. He, he's playing in a system, and for a coach that really respects his ability as a tough-minded defensive player who scraps for loose balls, who's a good passer, who's a willing passer, and an excellent offensive rebounder. So I think it's a really good fit for Gabe. It's a really good fit for Coach Huggins. It's and style of play makes a lot of sense. And certainly, you know, whether it was, you know, the transfer rules, the new ones, the old ones, I've always been under the, you know, thought process that you never want to hold a player if a player is going to go play somewhere else, not believing that they, you know, need to sit, that if they want to play, you know, why would you ever hold up their eligibility? You know, and certainly, you know, hopefully Gabe feels that, you know, that we did what we could to try to help him, you know, get his eligibility as quick as possible.
Okay, I might have a couple more about Huggins, but I'll turn back to Mike. Thanks,
Scotty.
Those are excellent answers, by the way.
That's fine.
Which we've gotten a chance to talk about Jalen a lot the last few weeks and what he does well. I'm curious if there's a part of his game in your eyes that is still maybe a little bit undervalued, but still is, you know, pretty critical to you guys' success.
I mean, I think there's so much, Scotty, that Jay Will, you know, provides. I mean, you talk about passing, you talk about perimeter shooting now, stretching the floor out. You talk about helping to initiate offense. We already know that he does a great job as a team defender, taking charges. He's blocked some shots of late, which is awesome as well. I mean, he's probably Trey Wade and Jay Will are probably our two most vocal players in practice and in games. And you need guys that verbalize things out on the floor. You know, they're actually, both those guys are more talkative to some degree than our point guards. I mean, JD can be a little bit quiet at times, and Chris is quiet at times, and Jay Will and Trey are two guys that really, really verbalize and almost take on I mean, I made the comment that Jay Will's almost like a point post, where he takes on some point guard characteristics with his voice and his passing and his understanding of our offense.
Not that Jalen wasn't confident before this recent run that he's on, but how have you even seen that come along? Like, because I think he knocked down a left corner three last night, and you could just kind of see the confidence just kind of beaming off of him.
Yeah, I think that, when you start playing well, one thing leads to the next. Same thing the other way too. If you're not playing well, sometimes things get, compounded. It's no different than a baseball hitter in a hitting streak or a hitting slump. And so I think that with Jay Will right now, he is confident, that when he's open for a 3-point shot, that he's going to knock it down. If he catches the ball in the post, he's going to make a good pass or be able to, take a skilled post shot. So I do think this is as confident over this stretch that he's been in, since he's been here in the last year and a half.
What have you thought of his interior defense? I go back and look at, shots defended each game, and it's not very often that he gives up a bunch of buckets in a game, and he's normally kind of leading you guys in shots defended.
He's been phenomenal. Again, I think it's his IQ. He understands who he's guarding. He studies his opponent. And then, if he's guarding somebody that's quicker than him, he gives him a half step. If he's guarding somebody that he's quicker than, he can crowd him. I just think he does a really, really good job of understanding, one, what we want or expect. And then two, he gives, he's earned the right to have a little bit of freedom as well on certain things, the way that he defends interior.
Nate?
Yeah, Eric, is there a pattern with transfers that maybe your guys are fitting now, where they start off pretty hot because no one scouted them and teams are experimenting, then they get in conference and everyone scouted them and they struggle, and then they kind of pick it up and start playing better as their experience goes on?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, I think, with the transfers, it's more how quickly can they get acclimated with your system and your style. Like right now, from a defensive rhythm standpoint, because everyone talks about offensive rhythm, but from a defensive rhythm standpoint right now, our transfers are in the best rhythm that they've had defensively, meaning Trey, Adis, and even Stan. Like, those guys have grown so much defensively. Their offense is what it is, but defensively as individual defenders, and then as a group, meaning those three together on the floor, we definitely have a defensive rhythm that we didn't have. And again, Nate, maybe that's because of the fact that, they're semi-new playing games together,
I just like Adis went through that early, where he, got off hot and then kind of faded. What kind of got his game back going again? Just defense? Was that it mainly?
Yeah, I think defense, and then he changed positions. He went from a 3-4 to the off guard. I mean, if you look over the last 5 games, I mean, Adisi's basically been playing the off guard almost the majority of his minutes. I guess when Devo and JD are out there, then he slides to the 3 spot. But I would say positionally it's helped him a little bit, but certainly his defense over the last, couple weeks has been really, really good, both on the ball and off the ball.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Randy?
Eric, the style of Bob Huggins has always been very physical. Talk about the matchups that you're seeing this game to help match up a little bit with that physicality of West Virginia.
I mean, Coach Huggins is he's one of, the best coaches that's coached in college basketball. His teams are fundamentally sound. They're tough. They're hard-nosed. They're great offensive rebounding teams. They put pressure on you defensively to try to turn the ball over. They compete every night. And I mean, as far as, like from the Arkansas side of things, I mean, we're starting, about as physical as team as we can. I mean, so I think, and we're starting a fairly big team as well, Randy. So no one knows how a game's gonna, what route it's gonna take or what the map of the game's gonna end up looking like. But certainly, I think that this particular lineup that we have right now is a little bit more physical than what we were earlier in the year.
Do you see the pace of the game, Eric, having any place in this game? I always think, as you mentioned, West Virginia, they want to grind it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll run. I mean, Sherman likes to score the ball in transition. When number 10 checks in Curry at the guard spot, the change of pace changes for them offensively because Curry's going to look to push the ball. And Bridges, number 11, is a good trail pick and pop guy in their secondary break. McNeil will get some quick threes off transition. And certainly either way, they can play, fast and score in transition, or they can grind it out. And every team that any coach has is always a little bit different year by year, but pace of play is, they get up and pressure you. So if you beat a little bit of pressure, then there are some transition opportunities. And if you can't beat it, then there's going to be limited transition numbers.
Bob, final question.
Yeah, Eric, West Virginia's lost 4 in a row, but it's like, the top 25 poll. I think it's been Kansas, Baylor, Texas Tech, and OU. What are you expecting from them, though? I'm sure, I don't know the stats about Huggins. I don't think he's lost 4 in a row very often in his career. What are you expecting from those guys?
But they're going to compete, play really, really, really hard. Those are 4 good teams that they've played. And I think it's going to be, we hope that it's a great basketball game and a great environment. And we hope that we compete and play as hard as we know West Virginia will. So yeah, I'm sure they'll be ready to play without a doubt.
And they have that nickname, Press Virginia. Do they press as much? And have you ever faced Huggins? But best I can tell, no, but maybe I missed something.
Yeah, they will press, depending on the game. They didn't press, Kansas much at all. They didn't really press Baylor much at all, but then there'll be certain teams that they will get out and press. So I think it's just goes kind of game by game. And then I've never coached against Coach Huggins, except as an assistant coach when I was with Johnny Jones at LSU and we played West Virginia. And then obviously as a younger, guy living in Ohio, when Coach Huggins was a younger coach, coaching at Walsh College. And then I think it was my senior year of high school when he was at Akron, I would go play pickup ball in Akron with Scott Roth. And I think Brad Sellers went with us and a few other guys that were really good players. I was just tagging along, trying to get some extra run, but we did play open gym in his gym. He probably doesn't remember or know that I was there, and it might've been after my freshman year at University of San Diego as well, when I went back in the summer. So Coach Huggins got an incredible reputation in Ohio. I can tell you that. His father was a legendary coach as well in the state of Ohio, high school coach.
You still got those pickup game notes to refer to?
I'm sure I do somewhere.
Thanks, Coach.
See you guys.
Thanks.